Alright guys, welcome back. So this is what I have for the harmonic balancer. I'm going to get my dad to either hold down on this. I got it leaning against a stud down there, and then between the teeth, while one of us pushes on this breaker bar. So we'll see how that goes. I can't really record this because there's not really any room where I can set the camera. So I'll update you when we get this thing off. There we go. Okay, it worked. So yeah, what we did was my dad held down the breaker bar while I put opposite pressure on the breaker bar to break it loose, and it came out pretty easily. I'm glad it wasn't stripped or rounded off or nothing, or else that would have been a bigger issue. Now I'm going down to Autozone because I was unprepared and forgot to buy the crankshaft pulley remover. So I'm just gonna run a kit down there and I will show you how that works. So I picked up the kit. Just gonna put this on the end of the stud after you screw it through the puller. So coming over to the puller, might not realize it, you're gonna be confused. You're gonna be like, where are the bolts? Oh, there. Just so much grime and stuff built up, it looks like a flat, smooth surface. So you're gonna have to really clean it off to find those bolt holes. I'll show you what it looks like afterwards when I have the harmonic balancer puller installed. Now that that's done, got the pulley set up through the holes. Once I got this cleaned out, I was able to thread the screws in there. I got my 21mm socket on there with a 1/2" ratchet. And all you're gonna do is, once the surface is lined up with these studs here, you're just gonna start turning. And what it's gonna do is that is going to thread this out right here, because this black shaft right there is pushing against the crank bolt. Now we're going to start moving the timing cover bolt. Whoops. Gonna be one here, the same on the other side, one here and one right there. Once you get those removed, you'll just pry off the cover, put a pry bar right there, then you can push it right off. Oh, and then there's 4 10mm oil pan bolts right down here. We got the studs loose. Should be able to put the pry bar in there somewhere, kind of just push that timing cover off. I'm starting to feel like there's another bolt somewhere.
There might be. Here, it's the whole cover, right? The whole thing?
Yeah, it goes all the way to the bottom.
See, it's coming off up here.
Just moving my car real quick so one of my family members can leave. But what happened was, 2 of the 13s I moved were nuts. I thought that could not have been it. It wasn't. The thread that the nuts bolted onto was a bolt itself. So we ended up snapping the timing cover, which luckily we are not having to reuse it because I got the brand new one. So all we gotta do is remove those 13 bolts, which, yeah, literally just 13 still. And then we should be able to get the cover off more easily at that point. So these are your timing cover bolts. On the other end, I got the nut screwed on so we wouldn't lose it. But that nut isn't what's holding the cover on. It's this bolt right here. That's what the nut went on to support this wiring harness here. So look here, right there's where we broke it. But now that those are out, we'll be able to get the cover off easily.
Pull that and
there we go. Just there you go. There's the old cover. There's the old seal there. Oh boy.
what?
It's just so rusted.
Yeah.
Covered in grime and stuff. Yeah, there's the timing chain. Yeah, it's still got coolant in it, so we didn't lose too much. Kinda. See, those metal gaskets are so stupid. We put the crankshaft bolt back in to line this up with top dead center. I can tell because I already had it bottom dead center before, so I just line it up with this mark here. Because if it's not, it's going to be all messed up. You won't be able to do anything right with that. Another way you can tell is if you take out the cylinder one spark plug, you can hear the air shoot out of there beforehand. But now we're just going to put the socket on here, which is a 15, and then loosen this crankshaft bolt up again, and then we'll loosen this to get the timing chain off. Okay, again, so when you have these markings here, that means top dead center. For the original specs, you're going to use the dot right here, or O for original. A is advanced timing for more torque in the low RPMs, and R is more horsepower in the high RPMs, keeps the valves open longer. So we don't have to worry about piston to valve clearance. We're going to keep it on the original spec because we are not taking off all those heads. Alright guys, it's the next night. It's getting a little tricky to see. But I'm going to start putting it back together and I will show you the quick process of it. Alright, so what you're looking at here is a washer I just got from my dealership. Nothing special, I just dug through a couple junk bins, found it because the surface is thinner than the previous timing chain gear. There was a little bit of a gap between the bolt and the gear, so I just picked up that washer real quick to fill in that gap. Okay, so down here, you're just gonna kind of wipe this off. Make sure it's free of old grease and stuff. Alright, so then you're gonna put your front main seal in here. You gotta tap it all the way down until this meets with the surface. You can just use a hammer and like a block of wood to keep a nice even surface. Then after that, you are going to take your U-seal, which I do not have over here with me, but it's literally just a seal that goes right here, which is what sits on the oil pan right down there. And then you got your gasket here, and then this is 40 foot-pounds, so I'm going to go over that real quick and double check, make sure it's all good. Alright guys, sorry about that. I had to skip a little bit. As you can see, I got it on there. The gasket was a little tricky, so what I did was I just put gasket maker on it, kind of set the actual gasket itself on and let it dry up a little bit, and now I am just putting it all down on the block. And then after that, we should be able to get the harmonic balancer back on. One important thing when putting these on, which is something I forgot, is you kind of want to leave these a little loose because it is not perfectly center at first. So what this is going to do is when you put the harmonic balancer on, it's just going to allow it to center more evenly. Oh, and one more thing. Do not forget your oil pan bolts. Alright guys, so I got my harmonic balancer all cleaned up and we're going to start getting it on. It's going to be off-centered, the timing cover. So when you put the harmonic balancer on, note it only goes on one direction. Pretty much like that. And then as you slide it on there, it's going to center up the whole cover. So the crank bolt actually reaches, so I'm just gonna take my wrench and then just start tightening it on, sliding it back up against the timing cover. Gosh, I wish I had my impact. What I did there was I just put a breaker bar here on this tooth to kind of push opposite pressure against the pulley while tightening the nut, and then I just went back a little bit to make sure it's not going to break loose or anything. But we also have to do that to install the crankshaft position sensor right here, like that. And then once you do that, just line it up with top dead center just to kind of finish up everything, and then you continue from there. All right, it is time for the water pump. And there you have it. I still have to tighten that one bolt over there on the left, and then I'm going to have to loosen, I believe, this one right here so I can get this wiring harness back on. But that's not too difficult at all, especially since that one's loose. What happened is this is a replacement bolt, and it's a 16 mil. Actually, probably, you know what? I can find a nut that'll fit over that. So yeah, very simple. Now at this point, honestly, I'm not even gonna worry about listing what day it is while working on this anymore, because at this point I'm just trying to get done whatever I can in the amount of time I have with work. And for the bracket, AC condenser. Remember, it's just 4/13. Top left is a bolt, top right is a bolt, bottom left is a bolt, bottom right's a bolt, but the top right and bottom left are nut attachments for brackets. Get your power steering pump in, hoses connected, and that is it for that bracket.